Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we're going to keep this little segment that we got going on this week where we're going to be breaking down some of the top prospects to watch at the NFL Combine. Today we're going to be talking about offensive guard, offensive tackles. Saturday, March 1st, linemen speak to the media. Offensive line workout on Sunday, March 2nd. Reminder, if you're looking for more videos around the Combine, our team is in Indianapolis. We've been providing a lot of videos, which hopefully everybody has been appreciating. If you've missed it, though, it might be because you're not subscribed. So make sure you got that notification bell on. Make sure that big red button is clicked down below. Right now, 50 total offensive line prospects at the Combine. And I'm going to do this version of this video a little bit differently than what I've done with some of these past Combine videos, simply because we're going to be looking at the big guys. I'll give you some of the stuff that I like on each of these prospects, but this is going to be more of just prospects that I want you to keep an eye out for, and I really try to focus on some of the top 100 guys. There are a few other dudes that are buried a little bit that you could potentially get on day 3. So first off, we're going to look at the first 10 names here, and I'm going to concentrate on a few of these players a little bit more in depth than I am a few other of these players. First name coming up is Will Campbell, who he's going to be, I would anticipate, the first offensive lineman that's taken in this year's draft. Could be somebody that the Raiders take at number 6, left tackle for LSU. He does have some short arms where if he had long arms, he'd be no doubt the number 1 tackle. Hell, you could even make an argument he'd be the number 1 overall pick if he had longer arms. For Campbell, if you put him at left tackle, you might be able to kick Colt Miller over to the right side, and there's been some organizations that have done that. Reminder, somebody like Colt Miller's got 0 guarantees left on his deal at the time that I'm making this video. But Will Campbell, you got to watch him. Let's go to Tyler Booker, and I love this offensive guard prospect. And I view him as a top probably 30 overall prospect, and it's going to depend where certain teams go. But if you're an organization like the Raiders, let's say, and you're looking at a Justin Fields, for people out there that want an Ashton Genty, you want to have a solid running game, you put a big old man in the middle there at left guard, you put him next to JPJ, that's a lot of powerful blockers going forward. Kelvin Banks Jr., another very big tackle prospect coming out of Texas, good athlete. Still a little bit raw overall, and I would want to see what this Raiders offensive line could do. If we still had Carmen Brasillo, I'd say let's freaking run it with Kelvin Banks. He's a good athlete, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people at 6'4", 320. So what offensive line prospect do you want the Raiders to draft, and what offensive line prospect are you really going to be watching closely at the Combine? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. While you're going to hit with that YouTube ad break, I want you to scroll on down and give me your answer. Let's keep it moving here on the O-line. I'm always going to be looking at players from Ohio State just because Chip Kelly was the offensive coordinator last season. And Donovan Jackson is one of these guys that we got to keep an eye on. Some people view him as a tackle. Some people view him as an offensive guard prospect. But this could be somebody that you're looking at getting in the 3rd round of the NFL draft, which I like the value a lot there. Joshua Gray is another player that I want to talk about that he's going to be a day 3 guy. And he's a offensive tackle, offensive guard type of prospect. I believe that he's built a little bit more to be a guard in the NFL. But when you turn on the tape, you see some flashes of good, definitely good in there. I've taken him in a lot of mock drafts, so I've watched him a little bit more. I hope he tests well, though. I really do. I'm worried that it might not be as good as what I'm hoping, though. Let's go to some more prospects here at the NFL Combine. If there's any names that you all see on your list that I'm not bringing up, please don't be afraid to yell at me and say, Mitch, how the hell are you not talking about this guy? Let's go to Marcus Mbow. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Another prospect that's probably going to go in the 3rd round, right tackle prospect, 6'5", 305 pounds, coming out of Purdue. Long man. And I want to see that he's strong because sometimes the tape he gets beat by other players that are a little bit stronger than him, and in the NFL, that's simply going to happen. Another prospect that I flippin' love, who's going to be a round 1 pick, 90.4 PFF grade. I think if he kills the Combine the way that I think he might kill the Combine, and he's got longer arms, there might be people that consider him to be the number 1 overall offensive tackle. Another prospect that I like a lot who played tackle at West Virginia, he might slide a little bit depending if people view him more as a guard prospect. I view him a little bit more as a guard prospect. Again, some shorter arms where for him, he's the lesser version of somebody like a Will Campbell. Though if Wyatt Milum, I think it's Milum, Milum has a better combine than somebody like a Will Campbell, who knows? Maybe he goes into round 1. I would love the opportunity, though, to get Milum in round 2. If he might fall to round 3, obviously that would be a little bit better. Huge shout out to our sponsor here, Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Whether you want to watch basketball, we're talking about the combine, depending on when you watch this video. Maybe you want to go more, maybe you want to go less with some of these big guys on a little bit of bench press reps. Hell, I tried to do 225 the other day, and I felt my elbows in my butthole. It was tough, man. You're going to see some people put up 225, 30, 40 times. It's impressive. But at the end of the day, I like to be able to occupy my time, and I like to have a good time while I do so. And the ability to put a little bit of money in your pocket is why I love Prize Picks. So if you're listening up right now, download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code CLNS, get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Now, maybe you're looking at the combine, or maybe you want to do something season long. We got season long for baseball. There's going to be season long for football as well. And once I get a few Raiders season longs, we'll be able to look at those, and hopefully there's a lot of mores in there, because I'm done taking lessons with the Raiders. I only want to go the more. Let's look at some offensive line now, prospects, and I'm looking at this list ahead of y'all. And there's definitely some prospects that I want to do a little bit more research on. Jack Nelson is one from Wisconsin. But Tate Ratledge, I mean, look at this hair. Look at this mustache at 6'6", 320. I want to see what he can do. Pretty powerful lineman on the interior. I'll admit, I don't know if he's the fastest or going to test as well as maybe some other offensive guard prospects. But Tate Ratledge, I would say, is a top 70 overall prospect. Josh Simmons is another prospect that I like a lot. Again, Ohio State, these guys are going to get some attention just because of Chip Kelly's connection. But at 6'5", 310, puts up a lot of good tape. Played only 6 games last season due to injuries, and he's got to show that he's healthy, and he's got to show that he's in football shape. And if he does, he's going to be no doubt a player that's going to shoot up some draft boards. And I think that this is going to be another year where do you remember last year? Do you remember last year where it was like all these linemen started flying off the board, and then somebody like DJ Glaze, who probably should have been a 5th-round prospect, had to be taken in round 3. Josh Simmons, and you're going to see a lot of these linemen, I think, are going to get bumped up the board. Jonah Savania, he is a offensive tackle prospect from Arizona. Really, really big player. And if you're trying to go bully ball, where we sometimes call it FU football here at Chat Sports, where you're like, God, I got to go and face this guy yet again. He is a powerful, powerful human being, and he's going to move some bodies around in the NFL. Keeping it moving here on the Raiders Report at the offensive line position. And one of these players that you see on screen, I actually have a DM from, and it says, can you put me back with Brock Bowers? That player, I'm not going to lie to you, it's Xavier Truss, and I got to see what Truss is going to bring to the table. He's probably one of the more offensive line prospects that I'm a little bit less excited about, if you will, from Georgia overall, but he's a giant. And when you're 6'7" and you're 320 and you got the long arms, there's going to be a lot of teams that look at that and they go, I can work with that. I can get his footwork better. I can make him a better pass blocker. I can make him a better run blocker. But when you see a Georgia offensive lineman, you know that they're going to bring a lot of power. What type of athlete is he going to be able to do? Because for Pete Carroll, they're going to want to try to run wide. They're going to want to try to do all these different run schemes. And you need offensive linemen that can move and can get up the field, but that can also lay a little bit of a pop, because we need some guys that can lay some pop and lay a little bit of wood. Reminder, if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram or on Twitter to get even more content videos around the NFL Combine, you can follow me on IG. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at MitchellRents3650. I will do my best the entire weekend to be posting more and more clips from these big guys, because I'm somebody that wants to win in the trenches. And if you're somebody that wants to win in the trenches, sometimes watching a nice little offensive lineman underwear Olympics can be pretty fun. Al, I remember when I watched JPJ last year, and I was just like, dude, this guy is unflippin' believable. And right now, when you look at this Raiders offensive line, there's a lot of question marks here. I don't know if Andre James is going to be back. To me, Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to end up playing center, but you need to be able to build depth. And whether you draft a lineman early or whether you draft a lineman late, we need to be able to build in the trenches. And I know that it's kind of tough knowing what the Raiders are going to do in free agency, which is totally going to dictate, obviously, what they do in the draft. But offensive lineman is a position that not many people get excited about. Quite frankly, you know how I know people are real ones? When they watch offensive line stuff, because that's what wins in the National Football League.